bunches for the garland. I inflate them 2 at a time. One always bigger than the other. Continue to add it to your quad. I keep turning them until I see that there's no spaces between the balloons. And I usually put the bigger ones in the back and the smaller ones in the front. Follow the same steps, inflating 2 by 2 and adding it to your original cluster. And I can see that there's some separation in between these two here, so I just continue to wrap 2 of the balloons around each other until I see no spaces in between. You can always use smaller balloons to cover those, but it's better to adjust them now so when you are installing the balloons you have less work to do. So the basic way I make the clusters is I usually start with a 36-inch balloon, like this one, and I attach it to a smaller one, like this. So I'm going to move this out of the way now so I can show you. So I have the big one, and I want to attach it to a smaller one like this one. Hello everybody, welcome to my live. So I'm just showing you how I make my basic clusters. So I attach it to a smaller balloon, the big one to a smaller balloon. Then I already made some of them that you attach duplex like this. Always a big one with a smaller size balloon so you can have an organic look at the end when you build your garland. So it's going to be looking like this. It's going to be starting to form into a cluster that you want. So this one is already attached, but you can still use it. So I do it by just wrapping 2 of the balloons around each other several times until I see no spaces in between them. And as you see, I can use my whole body for this. Or you can use a table to turn the clusters around. So usually I like my balloons to have the bigger ones in the back and the smaller ones in the front. So what I do at this point is, you see how this one already has the 5-inch balloons? I attach a quad of smaller balloons to the actual cluster, and that's the end of that cluster. The next step I do when I build my garland is, and I have to here, right here, show you. So this is gonna look like this. And the way I attach the smaller balloons is I look for the neck of the balloon, one that is long, and I search inside the other cluster for a neck that's long enough. Sometimes you find one, sometimes you'll have to search for it, but just attach them together. You don't have to use 260 balloons or anything else. Just attach them to each other so they look like they're part of the same bunch. Sometimes when you use a 260 or a fishing line, the balloons look like they're popping out, so they don't belong. They look like they don't belong to the same arrangement. So I want them to be tucked in like this. And it's already done. So what I was going to say earlier is I'm going to be using my fishing line today to build a garland. This garland is for a client, an actual client, and I usually prepare my garlands the night before. So if I think of any ideas, last minute ideas, I can change them, or if I have other jobs, as we do in the weekends, is the busiest time of the week. We have time to prepare for the other jobs as well. I also have a huge van, her name is Lola, and so we can transport everything already made from here to the actual event location. So I'm using fishing line. I know it's a clear fishing line, but it's the 50-pound strength, and doesn't matter the brand, just that it's strong enough. So it's less likely to pop your balloons when it's thicker like this. But if you pull too hard, you might pop a few balloons, but that's okay. So I attach my fishing line to a structure, usually a chair, but I have my balloon stand here, my JB telescoping stand, and it has a little hole. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. It has a little hole that I can use to attach the fishing line to it. So I'm just going to make a few knots into it so it holds my garland while I build it, because I pull it often, so I want something strong to hold my garland. Make sure it's secure. And I tie it a few times just to make sure. That should be good to go. And once I have all my clusters put together, and I add the smaller ones, I kind of know which one I want to place first on my fishing line. In this case, I want to start with the color white. I'm doing color block based on the client's logo. So there's two shades of blue, so the dark blue and the pale blue, and then the white. But I have the bigger ones are white, so I want to start with the bigger ones on one side of the garland. This garland is going to be on top of marquee letters from another vendor, the ones that have the lights. So I want to make sure that it looks nice and full on one side, and then it goes up until it covers most of the lettering. It's going to be 5 letters on this setup. So I plan on, and this might change. You have to feel free to change your design if you would like to. So I'm going to start with this big cluster. So it ends up at the bottom of my garland and on the side of the letters. And then I'm going to plan on ending up the garland with this light blue bunch, which is the biggest one, but it also has a nice shade at the top when I end the build. So the way I attach my balloons is, this is my fishing line, and these are the balloons. So I just press against the structure that I'm using, in this case my JV stand, and the fishing line is already in between the balloons here. I haven't attached it yet, but I want to pull the bunch against the structure, and I'm pulling also at the same time my fishing line. Then I'm going to go around a few balloons in a figure 8. So I have this one, That's half, and then this is the complete 8. Then I pull, and feel free to do it again if you feel more comfortable, so it's more secure. And that should be attached. It shouldn't move from there. Even if I let go, it's going to stay there. So the next color I wanted to use for this was the dark blue, and I want to use one of the fuller ones because I know I want this side to be at the bottom. So I think I want to use something like this. And as you see, my small ones are on this side, and you can always move them at the end if you don't like the look of it, but right now I'm planning on maintaining the smaller ones on this side so you can see how it looks. So I'm putting my hand in between some balloons here so I have more control, and this one is going to hold the actual fishing line. And sometimes you might need help from somebody else, but in this case I'm going to do it myself. So I push the cluster against the other cluster, and I put my fishing line in between the second cluster. I can feel that it's already pushing into it. So now I'm going to use this balloon to go once, and this is the second round, right? But I also want to go back to the previous bunch, right? So it's more secure, so you don't have any spaces. Or if you have spaces, they're not as big. So you don't have spaces in between the bunches. So you're pushing at the same time, but you're attaching it to the previous one, and you want to go back to the front. So I'm here right now, and I just pull again to secure this second bunch to the first cluster. I'm going to continue with my colors. Now I think I can safely switch to the third color. And you play around with the balloons so they fit nicely, so they go where they belong, in between the previous bunch. And this garland is going to be, I'm going to make it thick. When I get to the place, I'm going to add more balloons to it so it's thicker. But right now I want to make sure that the balloons fitting nicely together. So I have my fishing line going through the third bunch. And I'm pushing and pulling at the same time. And I'm going to secure this one first. And then I'm going to go back to the previous one. I have to pull. So it's now attached to the third one. And go back to the last one and do your figure 8 in between two of the balloons again. And you see how sometimes they turn. You can go back, if you let go, they didn't go anywhere. You can go back and switch your balloons the way you want them to look. If you see that this one turned a little bit, you can also, you have control to switch it again. So you know that it's secure well enough so it can hold off and go tomorrow. So the next color is white. And this is another full balloon cluster that I made. I'm just looking for the best placement for this one. I think if I put it this way, it would fit better. Let's see. So I'm pulling my fishing line, and I'm pushing the cluster against the other ones. So I'm going to attach the last one. Oh, that happens sometimes. And then you're going to go back to the previous one. And then attach it to out the fuller clusters first, and at the end use the smaller ones. And this one, and you're pulling and pushing at the same time. And I have my hand in between the last cluster, so I'm going to pull my fishing line and secure the last one first, and then go back to the previous one. And pull. And secure the last one. So this garland is supposed to be about 6 feet long, but I'm going to make it longer so it looks fuller at the end. And then we can continue with the light color, the light blue. And it doesn't have to be in order, because when you get to the event space, you can feel free to mix in the colors so it looks fuller, or if you feel like one of the colors looks smaller, doesn't have enough of one color, you can feel free to add more bunches. I always bring additional bunches just in case. I always say it's better to be prepared with more balloons than to lack the quantity that you need. Okay, so that's attached to that. We will continue with the white. I'm going to move this way so I don't end up going to my other room. I wanted to take a moment to say hello to everyone and to thank you for subscribing to my channel. Let me put this down a little. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and for being live with me today. I know it's a Friday night. Some of us like to have fun, but I'm working. But I am thankful that you are with me behind the scenes. This is actual work. So this is the white, and we are going to do the same process. I'm going to secure this one, and then go back to the previous one. And at this point it's getting longer, so it's a little bit difficult to go back to the previous bunch. But you can let go of the last one and just do that, and then push your balloons against each other and pull your fishing line. And again, you can take care of those spaces with smaller balloons if you need to. Okay. And then I'm going to add this blue. But I wanted to show you. Push it more that way. Okay. I wanted to show you the length of it. It's already getting to be the length that I want. But at the end, I'm going to have extra garlands so I can make a fuller bottom and a longer end. And I'll show you at the end what that means. So I'm going to use this color now, the darker blue. And secure. And go back to the previous one. And believe it or not, the garland gets heavier. Balloons are heavy sometimes. So you have to have some control over it. You pull and you push at the same time and then secure your balloon. Okay, so this is almost complete. Now I'm going to place the last one, which is the longer one, This is the main color of the client's logo, so I want it to be at the end, so when they take pictures, they can see this color. So this is basically the size, I prepared this one as 2 separate bunches, and then I attached them together so it looked fuller. And the way I did that is I attached the balloons by the neck. You can see in this one, and I'm gonna put some small balloons there. You can see how they are attached to each other. No fishing line, no 260 Q balloons, just by the neck of the balloons.
Let's see.
Okay, and so this one's gonna be trickier because it's longer. So I'm going to try to pull. Running out of space. I'm going to pull the fishing line through the back. And I want to make sure that it's in between the balloons here. And I'm going to push, and I'm going to secure my last cluster with the fishing line. And I'm going to go across a few balloons because this is a longer bunch. So I'm going to go in the back, I'm going to go through the previous bunch so I can pull it. Okay. And I'm going to pull and go back to the last one. And secure it there. Okay, so this garland is longer than what I think I'm gonna need, but the purpose of that is to make it look fuller when I get there. And tomorrow or maybe the next day you'll see a picture of it. I'll try to take a nice picture so you can see it. The whole setup with the letters and everything. So at the end, I just go around a few times. And then I cut my fishing line right around here. So I leave a little, like more than a foot of fishing line, just in case I need to attach it to anything there. I normally don't need to attach it, but just in case. So you cut it, and if you have plastic bags that you can put, that you can cover the garland with, you can do that. Or you can leave it in a space that doesn't have a lot of heat or cold. So don't leave it in the garage or next to a heat source, so it doesn't pop, it doesn't deflate. So as you can see, I have extra balloons, but those balloons are gonna come with me to my install. And I'm gonna use them to cover any holes, to make the garland fuller. Sometimes if the client has a space that needs decoration and they don't have anything, I just leave a bunch there, nicely placed, and it looks like a part of the decoration. So no balloon goes to waste when I do my installs. So once I get there, I can stretch this garland. And I can make sure that when I get there, all the small balloons are in the front. Right now, it's some of them are turning to the back, but in there, all of them are going to be in the front. And I'm going to cut that other end so you can see what I mean by this is going to be the garland. So you can see this has the bigger balloon. And then when I get there, I'll put a few bunches at the bottom. And this part is going to go on top of the letters. This part right here. And this is going to be the ends of it. I don't know how it looks in the front, but I'll make it look nice. if I have to add more bunches, I have extra ones that I can take with me. I'm gonna raise it back again so you can see. So this is gonna go on top of marquee letters. Alright, so now I'm done with preparing the garland for tomorrow. I usually make sure the previous night that I have all the supplies that I need. So again, I'll take with me the garland, fishing line, some tape just in case I need to tape something to the letters. Usually I take balloon tape to add any extra small balloons to it if I need to cover any spaces. And that's it. So I want to see. Hello everyone. Oh, it got hot in here. So I have a question from Jasmine. Hi Jasmine. What size is the garland? So they order a 6 feet long garland, but I made it about 9 to 10 so I can make it fuller at the bottom. I love sharing my tips with you as well. If you guys subscribe, I mean you are making an investment in your learning, and I'm ready to share what I know with you. So the clusters, I don't usually measure how many balloons in a cluster. So if I showed you, let's say for example, the white one that I made with you, I didn't count. So it looks full because I put 18 inches, 36 inches, and 11 inches in one cluster. So what that means is gonna look fuller, it's gonna look organic. I know some of us are trained in classic decor, but for organic, you don't have to measure anything. You just go by how it looks, what you want to accomplish on that specific build. And in my case, I want it to look full, organic, and I use the different sizes, as many sizes as you have. If you want to practice at home, you can use whatever sizes you have, as long as they're not inflated to the same size. All right, so I think that's it for today, and this is the first of several lives that I'll make for the subscribers. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me directly and I'll make time for you. I know some of you have already asked me for one-on-one consultations, so I am looking into my schedule for December. November is already full, but I'm always available if you need me through DM. That's something that I check on a daily basis. You can also email me at jexsyballoons@gmail.com, and we also have an 800 number, which is 880 Jexsy. So if you dial that number, that's our number. All right, so 3 colors are standard, but you can have more colors. And once I'm not sure of the level of if you already have your business or if you're already just starting out, but once you start making installations, you learn how to combine your colors, the primary colors with the secondaries. But usually I like 3 colors, and then you can add other colors like gold or silver to make it look more beautiful. But 3 colors, it's what usually I go for. The last video that I made, it was 2 colors and it looked absolutely beautiful. So it depends on really what you're looking for. All right, so I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you so much for your time. And like I said, DM me if you have any questions. Have a great night and a great weekend.